get into a concept which is part of the tradition of meditation, which is oneness. Everything is one. So, I'm going to attempt to use a deck of cards. And Anna, you just got done meditating, right? Would you be willing to help me for a second?
Sure.
All right. So if we could all get a round of applause for Anna. She was just on, what was it, 5 days? 5 days?
4 days.
4 days. Lovely. I'm going to move this here. I'm going to have you, if you would, just have a seat right here. And what I'm going to do, Anna, and hopefully this is where the projector comes in, because I got these large cards with the large indexes, and you can see, and I'm going to tell you a little story about the ocean and the waves. So there's a little wave, and the little wave is sailing along the ocean. And it's enjoying the sun and the sand and the surf, and it sees the other waves crashing violently into the rocks, and it becomes concerned. And a bigger wave comes along and says, "Why are you so worried?" And the little wave says, "You don't understand. In a matter of minutes, we hit the rocks. That's going to be the end of us. Isn't that terrible?" And the bigger wave says, "Well, you don't understand. You're not a wave. You're part of the ocean. So, we're all something together." And in this moment, I'll go like this. Anna, I'm going to ask you to simply name one that you see as we go through. Anyone is fine.
King of Diamonds.
The King of Diamonds, okay? And I'm going to ask you, if you would, to personalize that. And we're going to demonstrate that everybody thinks they are a person, and they are. There's definitely no question. We're all different. But we also have something the same about us. So, if you would, sign your name right on the King of Diamonds, on the face, not on the back there, right there. And that makes the King of Diamonds different and a little bit unique. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. All right, good enough. And we'll keep the king right about where it was. Hopefully you guys can see this. Yeah? Okay, good. Now, in the tradition of meditation, we all are one. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a card which certainly is not you, the Jack of Hearts, and I'm going to ask you to put your hand out, if you would. Okay? And can everybody see her hand as well?
Yeah.
Good. In this moment, I'm not really going to do much of anything. I'm going to put it right here so you can see. Yeah? Okay, good. Now, is it possible in this moment that that could become your card? That everything is part of everything?
Of course it's
Show them. There we go.
Wow.
So the crazy part of this is we live on the surface. We really do. We are on the surface of everything. Underneath us is a lot. You just spent 5 days in meditation. What did you do
I
exactly?
was in the gratitude training.
The gratitude training.
Um,
Okay.
we were a part of a gratitude leadership
Something
program
similar.
in Spanish
Out here.
version. The
Oh,
Spanish
okay.
version of it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, it's a perfect segue in a way, because you did get in touch with something deeper than just the normal day-to-day. And so we live on the surface. Underneath us are many things. In fact, if you look here, you will see there's a card underneath me, and that is the Jack, which originally was your card. See, everything is surface-based. So look, if I take that card and I put it right about here, and I square it up, again, we live on the surface, see? Because really, all we have is a Jack. Everything else is beneath us. There we go. Okay. And for Anna. So that's what we're about to shoot for. We are now going to explore not just letting go, but actually trying to understand. So I'm going to give you an analogy, and my best analogy is And this is a great thing to do one day. Imagine that there's two of you, because there really are two of you. One of you is a meat puppet. That's the body you live in. It's flesh. Every day when you get up, probably the first thing you do is you go eliminate that thing. It needs service. It needs to let everything out. So you do that. Then you wash it and you clean it, you drag it around, and then that thing goes out and you rent it out for money so that it can earn some food and some shelter. And then it starts over the next day. That's your body. On the other hand, there's something living inside the meat puppet, and that is the soul. And the soul is part of everything. I'm not getting religious. I'm not a Buddhist or anything of that sort. But there literally is something which is bigger than the flesh. And that's what we're going to get to. So, let's just do this. We live in a day and age of tremendous stress. All of us have stress. There's a lot of stress. Would everybody kind of agree with that?
Yeah.
All right. And actually, one of the things that was not present even 10 years ago was the fact that we're becoming more and more divided over things like politics. Okay? And I could go around the room, we won't. This is not a thing like that. But all of us have very different opinions, even if we think we don't. There's some things we like, we don't like, we're this, we're that. But we're starting to tear apart our friendships, our family bonds, even our marriages are starting to get this tension. And there's no need for it. Because if we could just let go of that and embrace the fact that on some level we're all part of the same thing, you'd find this. You'd find it to be like a computer. Who here has recently had their phone or their computer freeze up on them, by a show of hands? Okay. Yeah, okay, quite a fair number of people. And the rest of you certainly have at some point or another.
Right.
Now, what do you do to solve a computer that's frozen most of the time?
Turn
Reboot it.
That's right, that's right. And the mind is actually a giant supercomputer. So that is what this is about. We need moments of stillness, and when we get those, then we get flooded with happiness. So what Lester figured out, and this is the genius of this man, is it doesn't matter what you're feeling. Imagine you just won the lottery. It's the biggest lottery in history. You're now a multi-billionaire with a B. How good would that feel?
Amazing.
Who would embrace letting that good feeling go? Anybody? Anybody want to, real eager to just let that much happiness go? No. But, here's the crazy part, to be really happy you got to. Because if you don't, here's what you're saying. Happiness is rare for me. And so if I'm finally happy, I ain't letting that go, because that's very strange. I'm not happy very often. I have to keep all the happiness, or else there won't be any. So what Lester figured out is it doesn't matter if you are happy or sad or anywhere in between. It's an illusion. You let it go, you reboot the computer, and you start to feel better. And it doesn't just work some of the time. It works most of the time. In fact, it will eventually work all the time. Sometimes you just get stuck.